What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Legitical Response. We cover political news. We keep you up to date and keep you informed with everything that the government does. Now, a lot of people are freaking outraged with all the Trump persecutions, if you will, all the Trump trials, everything that's going on with Trump, and like they were pissed off about COVID. But there were some very positive things. Like, I always try to find the silver lining in everything, right? Like, COVID actually opened people's eyes up to what was going on in public schools, in colleges, with all the BS that they were trying to teach, like all the LGBTQ stuff they were trying to inject into our youth, our, America's youth. They were trying to inject all this stuff to try to normalize LGBTQ stuff, right? Like, don't push your damn ideology on people. Keep that out of the schools. You want to normalize these things, do it the natural way. Don't infiltrate the schools, right? That was something that was a very good positive that came from COVID. Now, a lot of people are outraged about all the Trump stuff, but you know what? There's something very positive that is coming out of all this. Like I said, I always try to find the silver lining in everything, but people are starting to wake up. They're starting to see what the Biden administration is doing to this country. They're starting to see that the weaponized DOJ, the weaponized federal government, is getting out of control. It's getting out of hand. People are starting to regret, and we're starting to see a major shift in how people view the Biden administration.
And Biden seems to be struggling with key demographic groups that he would need to win, and win big, if he stands a chance of being reelected.
John, there is significant softness in the support for Joe Biden among core Democrats. In this poll, he's carrying black voters by 61 points. Well, that sounds like a lot, but he carried them by 84 points back in 2020. Latino voters, a very slight Biden edge in this poll, but it was a 21-point advantage in the exit polls back in 2020. And among younger voters, under 30, we're actually seeing Trump with a slight edge. That was a big win for Biden last time around. It's particularly stark to see that difference among voters of color. Black voters under age 50, far less likely in this poll to say they're supporting Joe Biden than older black voters.
So that is a major shift from 2020, right? People were pissed off about COVID. They blamed COVID on Trump. And, for good reason. He kind of dropped the ball with COVID, but who else would have done a better job? I don't think anybody. Of course, you could say, oh, this person would have done a better job, and you could be right. But that was something that it's very abnormal for a global pandemic to take hold and for us to shut our economy down because we don't know what the hell to do, right? Nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew what was going on. So they just kind of fumbled their way through it. Sure, Trump kind of fumbled his way through it. That's what happened. But do you think Biden would have done a better job? There's no way to know. But that's all in the past. So we know that people were pissed off, but now they're starting to see that, oh, we got Trump out and we got Biden in. And we're starting to see what happens when the establishment takes back control, and they haven't had control for 4 years. So they just went extremely hard in the other direction, and their people are starting to see what it's doing to this country. It is ripping this country apart, but good thing, some people are starting to wake up and see the writing on the wall. They're seeing all the Trump trials. They're seeing all the bullshit for what it is. They're just going after Trump for no apparent reason, and it's drawing even more and more support from people that didn't even like Trump in the first place.
Do each of you support Donald Trump?
I do.
Yes. Yes for all three of you? Yes. Has this trial changed your opinion, even caused you to waver or question that at all?
No, it's actually caused me to support him more. I just don't believe there's a coincidence that we have a trial happening in Atlanta. We have one happening in New York. So the question people are beginning to ask themselves, like I did, is like, why now?
I've talked to many people who formerly identified as a Democrat. They have changed their political persuasion to independent, and they are looking forward to voting for Trump. Wow. Because now they find something in common with a political candidate at that level.
When you say they find commonality, what is that commonality?
They have felt persecuted by the system of American injustice. And it's not a stretch for them to think that Trump may be a victim as well. People see that there's some kind of commonality between himself and maybe all the black men that have been incarcerated and the families that have been impacted by black male incarceration.
That is just a fact of life. Police, in the past have discriminated against black folks, right? Because there's higher crime in these areas, because most of those are kind of poor, not so well off areas. Of course, there's going to be higher crime. That's what happens when you're poor. But, the cops discriminate against criminals. They don't discriminate against race. I'm sorry. Sure, I know there's anecdotes to show that, yes, certain cops have discriminated against black folks, and certain black folks have discriminated against white folks, and it's all going back and forth. But those are just facts of the world we live in. Everybody's got a different worldview. Not everybody's going to be nice and not racist. We do have racists out there, but the narrative from the corporate press is that America is racist. The institutions are racist. Everybody is racist. They try to put people in a box. It's an emotional argument. It's a BS argument. It's encroaching on ad hominem, if you will, because when you view everything through the lens of race, of course you're going to see disparities, but that's not how everybody views the world. So you can't just take that worldview and put it on the world and be like, yep, this explains everything. It doesn't explain everything, for God's sakes. But the corporate press and their bogus narratives, they have to push this emotional argument on you because they have to win back some of that support from the Latinos and the black vote. Yeah, because without it, they're going to lose. They're going to lose bad. And I don't think there's anything that they can do to get that support back. But that's not going to stop them from trying. They're going to put out this narrative that everybody's racist and that facts are, as a matter of fact, racist.
Former President Trump suggested recently that his mugshot and his legal troubles are being embraced by black people because they understand what it's like to be targeted and discriminated against. I just wonder, you are a White House that prides itself on, your relationship with the black community, its, outreach to the black community. The president himself talks frequently about how he believes he won in 2020 thanks to black voters. What was his response to that comment from the former president?
Yeah, and I do have a couple of things to say about that. I want to be really careful because it was said, he said it as a candidate, obviously, don't want to comment on 2024, but speaking separately, right? Speaking apart from that, and just being very candid here, it's repugnant and it's divisive to traffic in racist stereotypes. That's what we have seen, and that affect all Americans, right? You're tearing up all Americans by doing this. It is, again, divisive and repugnant, and it's coming from, obviously, a former president of the United States. And in any context, it is profane to compare the long, painful history of abuse and discrimination suffered by black Americans and to something that is totally different.
I just want to know from Karine Jean-Pierre, how is it any different? How is the government going after you for no apparent reason any different? As a matter of fact, in Trump's case, it's even worse because he hasn't done anything wrong. In some cases, they have, right? They may go after him extra hard, the black community. They may go after him hard. Sure, they may racial profile, but the justice system works how the justice system works. If you're innocent, you're probably going to get let off. I know I said probably because that's not always the case, and that's a crying shame because innocent people do go to jail. And like has been said many times in the past, it's better that 10 guilty people get away than one innocent person suffer. And why is that? That's because if people don't have faith in the system, there's no incentive for them to abide by the laws, for them to be a good upstanding citizen and be a productive member of society. There's no justification for it if they're going to get accused of something that they didn't do and go to jail for it, right? So we need to look at these situations and see them for what they are. She's trying to call racism on facts. That's exactly what she's trying to tell you. That the fact that the government The DOJ, the federal bureaucracy, has been weaponized against a political rival. That is a crying shame. That is something of third world nations, and everybody should be pissed off at this. But what can you get them to say about it? Yeah, it's just racist. It's, oh, my racism, because they don't have anything else. Like I always say, when they start calling you a racist, they've ran out of facts to produce any sort of argument that they can get behind and actually win. They can't win the argument here. There is just absolutely no way they're going to win the argument. Americans are starting to wake up. Americans are starting to see exactly what the Biden administration has done and is continuing to do. And we still have 6 more months to go. People are waking up in droves. I hope we can wake up a lot more people. I don't know what the shadow campaign is for 2024, but we learned of the shadow campaign. As a matter of fact, go check that video out. I'll try to link it right here. Hopefully it'll show up, because for some reason, I don't know why, every time I try to link a video right here, it doesn't ever show up. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. Maybe somebody can give me a hint down in the comments as to what the hell to do to get those videos to show up. If not, I'll go ahead and link that video in the description or in the comment section. Just go check that out. It's my most important video. It explains the shadow campaign. It explains what the Democrats done in 2020 to quote unquote save the election from Donald Trump. Yeah, they didn't save the election. Everything they did was technically legal, but it's technically cheating. As the analogy I used yesterday, it's like getting Mike Tyson to box Macaulay Culkin. Yeah. Of course Mike Tyson is going to win. When you have Democrat activists going from door to door, getting people to fill out their universal mail-in ballots and pushing them in a certain direction, like I said, Democrat activists going door to door to Democrats, right? They didn't go to Republicans and get them to fill out their mail-in ballots. They just went to registered Democrats to get these people to vote. So they got a butt ton of people that normally probably wouldn't have voted to go ahead and vote for Joe Biden. They appealed to their emotions. Oh, look what Trump did during COVID. Trump is bad, y'all. Trump is a fascist. Trump is a racist. Without facts on their side, they just went out and did this, and they stole the 2020 election, if you will. But technically, like I said, not really stolen, because it was all legal. It was all on the quote-unquote up and up. But it was a very underhanded tactic. And we figured that out, folks, because Time Magazine let it slip. They told us what they did. They told us that they had Democrat activists get out there and go do this shadow campaign. So now Republicans are doing the same damn thing. And that is a very good thing. Get as many people to vote as you can, because like I showed in that video, in 2016, there was only about 130 million people voted. You know, I think it was 65 million people voted for Hillary Clinton and only 62 million people voted for Donald Trump. Yeah, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He won the electorate. But that didn't matter, because in 2020, 76 million people voted for Donald Trump and 81 million people voted for Joe Biden. That is a major shift in the amount of voters that actually voted in the election. So that just goes to show you what happens when you activate a bunch of Democrats and get them to go to Democrats and get them to vote. That's what happens. You activate your base. People that normally wouldn't have voted filled out their mail-in ballot and voted, for God's sakes. And it caused Donald Trump to lose the election, because the Republicans were behind on the times. They didn't want people to vote by mail. They didn't want people to vote early and all this other stuff. They wanted people to get out there on election day and go vote at your polling place. And that's a very bad strategy, because a lot of times these polling places, they can get piled up. They can get long lines. Sometimes people get tired of waiting in line to go vote. And so you'll have some people that don't know, don't care, whatever. I just won't vote. Donald Trump's going to win. Who cares? Oh, and what happened because of that, folks? Donald Trump lost. And look where we're at today because of it. But I don't think that's going to happen this time. We are activating normal, everyday people. We are getting people from the Democrat side that are saying, this is insane. We cannot allow these policies to continue. They are destroying the country. And we are going to activate a butt ton of people, and we are going to have an enormous people get out and go vote. It wouldn't surprise me if we see like 80, high 80, 90 million people voting, for each side. It wouldn't surprise me if Donald Trump gets 90 million votes this time. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Just because of what Joe Biden has done to this country. But I think I've rambled on for long enough. I think you guys get the point. I think y'all are starting to see, you're starting to wake up, and you're starting to smell the roses, for God's sakes, touching grass, kicking cows, and doing all that good stuff. So, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here, but I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. Do y'all think that people are starting to wake up in droves, and we're going to wake up a whole hell of a lot more people and activate people to get out and go vote this time and get this corrupt, weaponized bureaucracy out of office, get Trump back in there so he can start to fix the country, start to clean this country up. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. That's all I got for this one, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.